Good evening, fellow cyclists. What we've got here is my mountain bike. This is a Trek Stache 7. It's a 29 plus mountain bike. I've raced this bike several times. Each time I've raced it, I've come in fourth. I'd like to be able to get on the podium in my next race, so a couple of ways I could try to increase my advantage. One, lose a little weight here. Don't know if I got enough time for that. The other is to lose a little rotational weight. So, since this bike is designed to work with multiple wheel sizes and tire sizes, I'm going to convert this to a 29, a regular 29 rather than a 29 plus. So what I've got is I picked up a set secondhand Bontrager Mustang Elite 29ers. And what I've got to do is I've got to convert this from a 10 speed to an 11 speed. And I've also got to change the brakes and so forth. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through how to make this conversion, how to take this wheel and get it to work on this bike. The Stache runs a 148 boost hub rear. That's what we've got here. So they should work. We'll just have to get it apart and see. So first things first, let's go through the parts that we need. Alright, so here's the parts you're going to need to convert your 10-speed Mustang Elite hub to an 11-speed. First you'll need an 11-speed free hub body. Picked up a race face version. It's a 3-paw design because that's the same design as what is on the wheel itself. You'll need, assumably you'll need a new brake rotor. These came with 160s on the back. I needed a 180. It was also a center lock design versus just a 6-bolt design. And then you'll need an 11-speed rear cassette. So those are the parts you'll need. Now here's the tools you'll need. First tool you're going to need is a bottom bracket tool. You'll use this to get the lock ring off your center lock brake rotor, assuming you have that. The next tool you're going to need is a 10 mil Allen key, hex wrench, whatever you want to call it, and in my instance, an 11/16 box wrench. You'll need these to actually get to get the hub off of the spindle. So now let's get into it. Alright, so first step is going to be to get the brake rotor off. So you're going to need your bottom bracket tool on the spindle. And you're going to have to crank it. Obviously I've loosened that up. Take those off. You'll need to retain the center lock ring. Next step is going to be to pull off this dust cap. Set that aside. This is where your 10 mil comes in handy. It's going to go in here. Your box wrench is going to go on this side. Now you want to pay attention because it's got an indication here of which way to turn to loosen. So you're going to want to just crank that over to loosen that. That'll come off. Pull all that apart. And then just slowly pull out the existing free hub body. And it's off. So now that you've got everything off, inside there's going to be a little spacer. It was with the old hub. Take that off because you're going to get a new one with your new free hub. Just take a quick look in there, make sure everything looks fine. So what you're going to get with your new free hub is you're going to get obviously the free hub body. You're going to get a spacer just like the one you took out. And then you should get 2 end caps. One for a 12mm through axle and then one for standard quick release. So obviously you're not going to need the quick release because we're running through axles. So first step is going to be to put that spacer on. It's a good idea just to give this a little bit of grease. Make sure everything's nice and clean. So we're just going to grease that up. Do the inside too. Then you're going to slide that down. It's got a beveled edge, so that's going to go facing out. Slide that down on there. Then you're going to have your free hub body. You're going to put that on. It's got a little washer inside. So now you might have a little bit of resistance. So what I like to do is get a small wrench, Allen key, whatever you call it, and kind of press the paws down so that they seat as it goes around. And then as you press that down, it's going to slide into place, and it's on. So the next step is going to be to take that through axle's end cap, and we're going to thread it on. Flip this over, go back, get our 10 mil, line it up, then we're going to get everything snug back on. Be careful not to cross thread. So we got it hand tight. So now it's just a little bit of, get that good and snug. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the brake rotor. Alright, so now that I've got my brake rotor, I'm going to slide that in place. Then I'm going to take the end cap, pop it in place, because it's retained by the lock ring. Take that lock ring, we're going to thread it on. Then we're going to take our bottom bracket tool, and we're going to crank down on it to get it as tight as we can get it. It says on there 40 Newton meters, but I don't have a torque wrench. If you do, then get it to there. Otherwise, I'm just going to get it as tight as I can get it. Next step is going to be the cassette. So it's a 10x42 11-speed SRAM GX. Now, the hub itself has different shape or different size splines, but the cassette doesn't really seem to have any of that. So I'm going to just line it up as best I can, find where it engages smoothly. If you just kind of rotate it around, you'll be able to feel when it does. Should be good there. And then you are going to need one more tool that I forgot to mention. You're going to need a cassette tool, because that's going to go in here, because you've got threads on the inside of this that's going to press it into place. So you slide that on there, and you'll need a 1-inch box wrench, and you're just going to crank that down until it gets nice and bolt it on. Now we're ready to put it on the bike. So there we go. We went from a 29 plus to a standard 29er wheel size. Did the 11-speed conversion on that Mustang Elite hub. Next step is going to be to do the front wheel, then take it out for a test ride and see how it all goes, and then race it. See if maybe I can get on the podium on the next one. So until then, thanks for watching. Be safe out there.